Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome into the number one Group of Five college football show of all time. This is the Group of Five guys, and our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media and the AP absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. We need you to hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of Five guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, share with your family and friends. On this episode, we recap a very interesting weekend of college football. Of course, we'll probably have to talk about the AP and the FPI and plenty more. Hope you enjoy the show. This is the Group of Five guys, and we are coming to you live.
They got Old Dominion week 3, and ODU is by no means a layup. Group of Five guys told me that, so that has to be true.
We looked at each other. We was like, Mike, the best place to be is a Group of Five. So I'm sitting here with the Group of Five guys, right?
Detroit has won. It's been a winner, and it's a special place. So it's why you want the job.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
It was across there. You want to have this thing packed out, have the student section packed out, giving those guys hell on the sideline. I mean, that's part of it. I mean,
win or lose, like we're winning the tailgate.
There's no better place to be developed in this country than Boise State.
Tell you what, Jeff, we might need to make some changes to that intro, pal.
Need to
not going to get into specifics, but
look, a couple of those teams and programs had great weekends.
Yeah, they did. I'll tell you, this was there's always that one or two weekends every year where it makes it damn near impossible to try to put together a poll or a ballot or a ranking or even know why certain things happened, certain results. This was the one, man.
It was brutal.
I mean, some ones that really, really threw me for a loop. You love all the quote unquote upsets, but really throws you off when you see Coastal take care of South pretty handily. You see Troy with a big comeback. You see North Texas almost blow it, a big comeback. You see Western Kentucky take 3.5 quarters to figure out an offense. That you're just looking at these schools and you think you know something, and then every week you see Toledo go down to Western Michigan. Every year there's a week where it's like it makes it really difficult because you can't sit here and say now there's enough of a sample size, right, where we can't sit here and say Coastal is better than South based on a body of work, but you can because they beat them. Actually, that's a bad example because I think South's like 1-3 at this point, but
It's and I'm sure we'll get into that game and talk about it, but South, they do the same thing. I feel like every year they look really, really good against some teams, and then they go up against a team they should beat, and they drop it. They just don't look good. And then same with Toledo. Dan Rock and Van Savage said it when he called in a few weeks back. He's like, let's not get too high because we're gonna lose a game every year. We do it that we should win in conference. And lo and behold, and that's not a knock to Western Michigan, but Toledo, I think, is the best team in the MAC. But they weren't on Saturday.
Yep. Well, and it's not good when it's your first conference game. That's not a good start because now you're fighting from behind immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got some good things to talk about, some bad things to talk about. Let's start with the good. And I'm talking about Deca Gray coffee, Jeff.
No doubt.
You guys know the deal. Go to decagray.com. Use our promo code GOFG for that roast to order coffee. You put it in your cart. You click purchase. They roast it. They bag it. Ship it directly to your doorstep. Whole bean, ground coffee, and K-Cups. Also, Levels Sports Picks. I saw, Jeff, you got a couple wins under your belt over the weekend. I went, I can only do prize picks here in the great state of Georgia. And I'm not counting them as a win. If I do like a 5 play, prize picks will count it as a win if you hit 4, but the 4 really only pays, it just pays you back.
Yeah,
you get 4 out of 5, it pays you back. I mean, that ain't a win. It's a tie. That's a push.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So But anyway, I had one of those. I was missing one more reception out of former Liberty receiver CJ Daniels at Miami. So needed one more reception to hit that one. But
Yeah,
anyway, you guys check out Level Sports Picks.
I was just gonna say, had a couple wins this weekend, and it was Toledo loss, and another game away from having a monster weekend. So we're right on it, right on that freaking line right there of having had a good weekend, but we want to have a great weekend. Level
Yeah,
Sports
we definitely did. But make sure you check out that Level Sports Discord. Link is in all of our bios on all the social platforms. Really good content in there, really good plays. I know Vandy, the coach's desk, and Blake, soccer, NFL, they're rolling right now. The coach winning with baseball all day long. So you make sure you check them out. Jeff, who else do we need to check out? Who is it time to start paying attention to in this college football season 2025?
So I mentioned him last week. I didn't go with him a week ago when we did this segment, but the Delaware Blue Hens, they are here. They're ready to go. 3-1 on the season. Second in Conference USA in offense. Nick Minicucci, figured out. That's how you pronounce it. Dude's balling out of his mind. He's got 1,000 yards on the year, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and then you add an additional 4 rushing touchdowns on the ground. They get it done this weekend in a huge Conference USA matchup against FIU to start the season. So they're 1-0. And this the next game in particular, they're on a bye this weekend. They get a nice bye, get kind of healthy, get recharged, and then they got Western Kentucky at home, Jacksonville State on the road, the Blue Raiders after that, and then Liberty after that. So it's a tough, and then La Tech. So they got a tough, like 4 games. I'm not going to count my Blue Raiders as a tough game, but a 4-game stretch coming up. But everything they want, if they can get that win against Western Kentucky, they're in the driver's seat to be the favorite to go to the Conference USA Championship.
Jeff, you know what I love about Delaware? So they scored on special teams, and they put that game away against FIU with this drive. 15 plays, 81 yards, took 7 minutes and 31 seconds off the clock, and it ended in a touchdown. That's how you put a game away. Well done, Delaware. Absolutely well done. I was going to go a couple of different routes here. I was going to start saying North Texas. I know Shay is going to love that, except for they scared me to death giving up that lead yesterday or on Saturday. So I'm going to go Tulsa. Tulsa with that big in-state, up the road, Power 4 win over Oklahoma State. Dominic Richardson, 31 carries, 146 yards. I know Oklahoma State's not good. I know that. But Tulsa has not been good. And Trey Lamb came out this offseason talking about how they have the resources, the NIL money, all of that stuff. He said a lot of it on our show. We said it at the media days about there's no reason they can't compete with Oklahoma State. So to go do that in year one, and especially when you can run the ball like that, control the line of scrimmage against a Power 4 opponent, well done, Tulsa Golden Hurricane.
Love Trey Lamb's post-game interview where he was just like, we're here. We're not going to be on the third page of the newspaper anymore. This is a huge win for the program, which it is. And then love the story.
Tulane, Memphis. Thought UTSA, Navy might be in the mix, Army might be in the mix, and they are. And now you add North Texas into the mix, you add Tulsa into the mix with a win like that. I mean, that conference is as deep as it gets. And I still think it's the top is the top, like all the conferences. But Tulsa now could be one of those teams where they were talking about Memphis' schedule all game, which was driving me off the wall. They're talking about Memphis having the best odds now of the group of 5, and maybe they do because they don't play another Power 4, but they still got South Florida, still got Tulane, they still got Navy. Navy the day after Thanksgiving, or it might be Thanksgiving Day, is going to be sneaky. That was a weekend that always throws somebody for a loop, so look out for that. But Tulsa's one of these teams that could sneak in there and upset one of those teams and then open it up for somebody else.
I think that the main point is this isn't the Tulsa team of old. Very well coached. Trey Lamb's a fiery guy. His players, eat, sleep, and breathe that mantra. You can see it in just the way they play. They're not one that you have on the schedule in the American that you can just if we're not going to worry about that one. Like, you got to be ready to go,
Yep.
or else they'll come up and then beat you.
Yep. There's no this year in the American. There's no okay. We got to get up to play Tulane, and then we can exhale and take a break. No more of that. That I don't know. Maybe Charlotte is the one team right now that you can do that at.
Yeah.
And even them sneak up and get somebody. But another good one. Let's talk Memphis. What an ending to that game. You needed one play. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why didn't Arkansas take a knee? And I disagree with that. I think you got to trust your offense to hold on to the ball and not fumble, number one. And I think your safer bet is to go score a touchdown. So many things can happen on a field goal, on the snap, on the hold, on the kick. You can block it. Anything could happen on a field goal, especially you get so close that it's not easy anymore. But anyway, they fumble the ball. Memphis recovers to seal that game. I mean, Taylor Green gave them so many problems. But that defense, they didn't play great, but when they needed to play, I mean, you want to talk about timely, game on the line turnovers. They got them. And then shout out Brendan Lewis and Sutton Smith, that Memphis offensive line. Sutton Smith, 147 on the ground. Of course, had the game-winning big run. And then Lewis had another 103 on the ground.
Yeah, it was a great performance by Memphis. You got to give them a lot of credit. You know, not the perfect game, but they hung in there, hung around, made a comeback, and kept it close in the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what you got to do. Give yourself an opportunity to win. Brendan Lewis, played well. Had the one pick that was really just like a 50-50 ball on a post that was a little underthrown. He throws that out there. He probably catches it and scores. But, it says something about your team when you find a way to win in a meaningful, big game. And shout out, the Liberty Bowl was rocking, dude. That, when that stadium is packed like that, it gave them an advantage. You could see it. You had penalties. Taylor Green had a tough time, especially in the pass game. And I think a lot of that is credit to that environment.
Well, Brendan Lewis, this has been something we've mentioned over and over with him coming to Memphis as opposed to Seth Hennigan. He's not a better thrower. He's not a better quarterback than Seth Hennigan. But what he can do with his feet on broken plays and just designed runs, it's a different dynamic for that offense that they did not have as much with Seth Hennigan. And it's something where this is something that I talked about in the offseason. Is the offense better with a quarterback that's maybe not as good of a quarterback because he can do other things? And so far, I mean, they've answered the bell. That's 4 straight Power 4 wins for Memphis, by the way.
Yeah, at home.
And also, hey, and I forgot his name. Their backup quarterback, Jeff. I don't know if you saw what's that?
CJ Smith.
When was it him who came in when Brendan Lewis' helmet came off on the last drive of the game? I don't think it was CJ Smith. It was somebody else. Yes.
Maiden?
Yeah. Came in and drove the Arkansas defense, drove a pile for a first down to seal that game. Because Memphis, they still needed one more first down. And then Brendan Lewis' helmet came off, and that guy came in.
Yeah,
shout out to him, man. Being ready to play and coming in there and saying, this might be the only snap I get. But damn it, I want to make it worth it. But Memphis, big win. And now they are in the driver's seat. Again, I know you get South Florida, you get Tulane at home. You got to go at East Carolina still. So it ain't an easy path.
Nope. But everything they want is right in front of them.
Yep. Some of the bad, Bowling Green at Louisville, Bowling Green drove. They moved the ball a decent amount, but Drew Pine had some bad turnovers in plus territory. You're not going to win many games like that. We talk about you're not going to win these games making mistakes, and you look at Memphis and Arkansas. It was Arkansas that made the late mistake, and that's what lost them the game. So Bowling Green, and then that Louisville offense is too potent. I mean, you can't give them extra possessions.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go is the extra possessions off turnovers with a dynamic offense. It's more times than not, it's going to come back to bite you, and it did. And, giving up 40 points, man, you're not going to win too many games doing that.
No, you are not. You're not going to win any games giving up 56 either if you're UAB in Knoxville. What about Trent Dilford taking a picture? Did you see that?
No, what I saw
I don't
something
know if it
else.
was pregame or midgame, but he took out his cell phone and it appeared that he was. This is the narrative that I don't know if this is what he was doing. It appeared that he was like taking a video or a picture of the crowd,
Oh
like
my
he was a
gosh.
fan.
Like, dude's never seen a big crowd before. You play in
Yeah,
the
dude played in the
NFL and a
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. What about UAB? That player for UAB who stomped on Tennessee's kicker's foot. Kicker was fine, but you see that you're just kind of like that's bush league.
Yeah, that's as bad as it gets. I don't understand. I've never understood post whistle like that. I understand an extra push. I understand you get face to face and maybe a little jab to the helmet or something like that. I get that. I don't get stomping on a player's foot or stomping on a player's leg or spitting in somebody's face. Never will understand that. I have a theory. We've talked about this before that there's a little bit of a self-selection for a defensive guy, especially.
Yeah.
Like they gotta be a little nuts. That's part of why they're good. So I don't know. You got to have a screw loose to do something like that. But I wonder what the repercussion is. I mean, I know he put out some Chat GPT apology, but we'll be interested to see if he's still on the roster or suspended or anything like that. Hope so. Hope he's at least suspended. I mean, I give the kid another chance. I don't know his history.
Yeah, I don't know
So,
either.
but typically guys that do stuff like that are always doing stuff like that. So Kent State at Florida State. You knew this one was going to be bad. I mean, Florida State seems to be back, if you will. Kent State, again, their schedule sets up for them every year
Brutal.
where they just don't have much of a shot, man. I mean, and there's a couple of years ago they played Georgia pretty tight, but you're not going to keep playing teams tight. You keep schedules like this. Maybe the most disappointing performance of the weekend, Jeff, was Tulane. Everything that they've done well this season, they did poorly on Saturday. Couldn't cover the deep ball, missed tackles in the backfield. When they'd get pressure, they'd blow past Chambliss or the running back. They just looked like a lot of stuck in quicksand kind of thing. That quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss, Division II transfer, 429 yards of total offense. And then on the other side of the ball, Jeff, Retzlaff had one completed pass in the entire first half, and it was the very last play of the half. So, I mean, you put yourself behind. They're lucky it wasn't 35-0 at halftime. They were still technically in it at halftime. They had a couple of opportunities in the second half, but you got down 3rd and short, 4th and short, and they couldn't convert. Where they did convert against Duke, against Northwestern, against South Alabama, they didn't convert against Ole Miss. Now, I know their O-line was shuffled around. He had Shadre Hurst out there playing left tackle. He normally plays guard. Maybe that could be something to it. I think, I don't know, man. I think everybody was singing their praises for a week, and they ran into a team that's real good, not just any old power four with a transfer quarterback. I think Ole Miss is pretty good. So, tough one.
Yeah, Retzlaff didn't play great, and that's what you were going to have if Tulane was going to win this game. You needed him to be special, not just with his legs, but with his arm, and he wasn't able to do that. You know, and you got to give a lot of credit to Ole Miss. I mean, there was not a ton open when in the secondary. That defense did a great job of getting pressure on him. He ran around, tried to make some plays, but ultimately it just wasn't their day. I think they kind of unleashed and unloaded everything they had on Duke the week prior, and then banged up a little bit as well. That always plays a factor going into this game, and you could just kind of see it up front. They got handled quite a bit, and you got to give a lot of credit to that quarterback. He made throws, ran around.
He's good, man.
I mean, he's a good player, and you just couldn't get to him. I think Tulane's gonna be fine. Get healthy, get back in a conference, and start putting some wins together.
Yeah, they'll be fine. And Ole Miss, they did not really take their foot off the gas either. So I think Lane Kiffin respected Tulane enough to keep scoring and keep throwing the ball and doing all the things. But yeah, just sloppy game for Tulane. NIU at Mississippi State. NIU, they just couldn't stop the run. Couldn't stop the run at all. Mississippi State ran it all over the place, and Mississippi State's better than they've been as well. They're better than they were in the past couple of years. So not much NIU could do. And then Temple and Georgia Tech. I told you Georgia Tech might be on a mission here. Temple held tight for a little bit, first quarter, second quarter. They held in there, but Georgia Tech's got a pretty good team. I like what I think it was Saban said about Georgia Tech, that they play their game no matter what. Like he was talking about some teams, they play up to competition, down to competition, and they fluctuate. Sometimes they don't play. Georgia Tech just does what they do, and they're rolling right now, man. So tough for Temple, though.
Yeah, I thought Temple looked better than a week ago where they got blown out. So Evan Simon continues to make plays.
Yep.
Jay Ducker looks good in the backfield, shows flashes of big playability at times. I'm excited now to get into conference and really get to see these matchups, because these are the games that matter the most. And I think this is where the teams have built their program around to win conference. So you're going to see a lot of great matchups and really get, the eye test to see how they hold up.
Yep. Georgia State at Vandy was not the same as it was last year. Pavia went nuts. They scored 70 points. So tough outing for the Panthers in Nashville. I'll tell you, good crowd at Vandy though, huh? They're bought in Nashville behind old Pavia.
They're putting butts in seats.
Isn't it frustrating? Right up the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put together. That's what you need. That's what you need if you're middle, Jeff, is a wild card transfer quarterback that'll say all the things and get people excited.
They need a lot of things up there, Sprousey.
The other two that did not go well, Sam Houston at Texas. You knew that was going to be rough. And Wyoming at Colorado. Wyoming, they did some things okay. But, both of those games ended up being sort of the blowouts we thought. BYU at East Carolina is a game that we got to talk about. First of all, both defenses, unreal performance. And what gave away this game is the turnovers for East Carolina were such a problem last year, and they haven't been this year. And it's been winning them some games. But you get two really, really bad turnovers. One, East Carolina drives all the way down the field. I think the game is 6-3 at this point. So this is a field goal game for both teams. So they drive all the way down the field, and we throw a turnover in the end zone. So we get no points. We drive the best drive of the game. We get no points. Then, I think a possession or two later, backed up in our own end zone. All we got to do, we want to try to get a first down, punt it away, maybe. We throw pick six. And that's your game right there. Now it's whatever it was at that point, 13-3 or something, 16-3, something like that. And when this is a field goal game against a team that hadn't allowed a touchdown all season long, you get down 10 points. I mean, that seems like you're down 50 points against that BYU team. BYU, boy, that Bachmeier kid, Bear Bachmeier, any relation to Hank Bachmeier?
I don't know.
He wears number 48 or 47.
47.
Quarterback. The last person that wore 47 that was any good was Michael Irvin, which also looked bad at wide receiver. But anyway, he's okay. But boy, if BYU had Retzlaff, they'd be a real problem.
Yeah, their
real problem.
Their defense is stout. But you got to give a lot of credit to ECU, man. They look really good, especially you mentioned defensively. Now, if we could just get like some continuity and some efficiency on the offensive side of the ball, because we've seen flashes of it this year. How Hauser's looked better. This game, obviously, you had the bad interceptions, but if you can clean that up, you get into conference, like they can make a run. When you have a great defense that can limit opposing offenses, whether it's in the air or on the ground, like it's going to give you a chance to be in a ton of football games. And you just never know. Just never know with ECU if playing like that. They could make a run, have some big signature wins in conference, and find themselves with an opportunity in the championship game.
Yeah, and by the way, credit to BYU's defense also. Like, I don't know if you had a chance to see them or break them down. I don't want to just say terrible throw, terrible interception, maybe bad decisions, right? But also, you're playing a defense that's doing a lot of things, and it made it a lot tougher. So you got to it's not like BYU hadn't been doing this kind of thing. So I don't want to put the sole blame on the quarterback. I wanted to say one more thing on that Wyoming-Colorado game. I don't know if you had any notes for that, but 11 out of 25 from quarterback for Wyoming. So that ain't going to do it.
Nope.
And then in the late night, the Aztecs of San Diego State, Snapdragon Stadium, they get the undefeated Atlantic Coast Conference contenders, the Golden Bears of California, and San Diego State rolls 34-0. Everybody's going to talk about, I know Cal's not SEC. They're Cal. It was in the late night. It was on Fox. Game probably not a lot of people saw. But everybody wants to talk about South Florida beating Florida by 2. They want to talk about Memphis beating Arkansas by 1. They want to talk about Tulane beating Duke by a touchdown. We ain't going to talk about San Diego State beating Cal by 5 touchdowns, shutting them out. Denegal, Jeff, 15 of 18, 189. It's almost like we know what we're talking about. we talk about San Diego State having a great defense. All you need is efficiency. You don't need 30 throws. You don't need 400 passing yards. You don't need any touchdowns. You don't need anything because your defense scored 2 of them. San Diego State, 2 defensive touchdowns. So you go 15-18 for 189, and when the defense plays like that, you're going to win every single game if you do that.
Lucky Sutton had a touchdown, got in the end zone. Jordan Napier, wide out for San Diego State, has looked great since the start of the season. He had 9 catches, 154 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, we were watching it. We're at level 3 after the drowning our sorrows.
Oh, really?
After the Blue Raider loss, and was watching this game and was like, San Diego State is getting after Cal's ass and getting after that quarterback. I mean, the quarterback's a freshman. I get it, but he's played well the first 3 games. Man, love to see the Aztecs back in the fold.
100%. And we've been waiting for, now I know they scored twice on defense, but we've been waiting for the Sean Lewis offense to get in sync with the San Diego State defense. I mean, this is one game because it hadn't been this way even this season. But boy, something scary. Level 3, huh? I went there one time with Chuck Butler and Jesse Grisham, and they were having like a weird. We had to leave. It was very scary. It was almost like a satanic concert up in the upstairs. It was really odd. Not my cup of tea. Now, were you guys downstairs? Where were you? Downstairs playing pool? Middle bar?
No, we were just in the middle bar, main area. Had karaoke going on upstairs. Now we're just hanging out, talking ball. You know, it's funny. So these 2 gentlemen walk up. I don't know. They were in collared shirts. Just got off work. Shirt just said Mr. I don't know what that would be. I think there's like a Mr.'s car wash, Mr. B's car wash. Maybe that's what it was. I have no idea.
Wait. Just got off work? Was it midnight?
They walked
in. Car wash?
They walked in with their damn polos on. So
sounds like they're washing something different at this car wash. If you know what I'm talking about. I've seen the TV shows.
Who knows? But yeah, so they walk in. I don't know. It came up. We had our Blue Raider stuff on and talking about who they are. And Notre Dame fans. I'm like, why are you Notre Dame fan? He goes into his spiel, whatever it is. I was like, I mean, the best player Notre Dame's had in the last, couple of decades is Manti Te'o's girlfriend.
They didn't like that, I'm sure.
No, they didn't. I had a pretty good heat going. So
yeah, I'm sure you were. Yeah, you were probably on. If you get that weather delay out there in Murfreesboro, plenty of time to. We got to figure something out. We got to maybe play indoors in Murfreesboro.
I don't know what it. Every time we play Marshall, there's a monsoon that comes through.
Yeah, it's always a great game. Anyway, so that was all for the Power 4 games. Group of 5 on Group of 5. UNLV at Miami. I don't think either team really wanted to win this game. I mean, they kept trying to hand it to the opponent, kept trying to do it. I will say this about UNLV. That offense, when it gets going, is really, really difficult to stop. And that's going to be their MO. Their defense hadn't figured it out yet. but that offense gets rolling. They got weapons all over the field.
DeQuan Finn goes out with an injury. It
Yeah.
was a really weird play. Like he threw it, he was on the run, he threw it and kind of like jumped and then threw the pick. And then the next thing you see, he's on the ground, faced it. You see him, he looks up, he sees the pick, and then his face just goes in. So I'm not saying the guy really did get hurt, but I've been there where it's like, damn.
Yeah.
You're just laying there and there was a pick six. But yeah, UNLV tried to give this game away so many times. Calandria, the 2 picks he had were bad. Like, I don't know if he just didn't see the underneath, defender, the curl flat player, but just like threw it right to him. Both back and forth, flashes of greatness, then flashes of like, what's going on, scratching your head. So, but Jaden Thomas, finally, they get him going in the second half. I think he had over 100 yards in the third quarter alone. It's like, why are we not handing him the ball more in the first half? But 118 yards, had the touchdown. Calandria did make plays, towards the end of the game that were huge, that extended drives that got them going. So shout out to UNLV. It hadn't been pretty, but 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0 is 4-0. And if you're playing out there in the Mountain West and you watching the American, you're thinking the Americans got it in the bag. Well, they start beating each other. UNLV, Boise State, they're sitting there. No losses, 1 loss. Look out. That's all I'm saying. North Texas at Army. Tale of 2 halves here. The first half of this game, North Texas looks like I'm getting ready to tell the world they're the best team in the American. The way that offense was rolling, Mestamakers throwing it all over the place. And then they let Army creep all the way back in and take it to overtime. But you got to give North Texas credit because it would have been real easy to fold when that game went to overtime, but they did not. And they got one last stop, 1 more score, and got that game won.
Cale Helms starts the game for Army, not playing well. Ball gets put on the ground, so they make the switch to Dwayne Coleman, back to the starter who opened the year. And, man, Coleman came in, played lights out. 100 yards in the air, had 2 touchdown passes, over 100 yards on the ground as well, and a rushing touchdown. So I think that was the big, kind of switch they made once that happened. Man, that offense started rolling. And, we talked about how good North Texas defense has looked in the first couple weeks. And then, they give up 38 points. But it's Army. It's triple option.
Yeah,
it's a tough matchup for sure. So glad the Mean Green got the win. Anytime you're going to put up 45 points, you're going to give yourself a great chance to get the dub.
What is North Texas schedule the rest of the way?
They have.
Got it pulled up.
Yeah, I got you. They got South Alabama up next. They are on a
South Alabama will come out and roll. Watch. They'll South Alabama an essentially meaningless game for them. They'll just come out firing, and also they'll run for 300 yards.
So
anyway,
they got South Alabama at home. Then they get a bye. Then they get South Florida, UTSA, both at home. Then Charlotte, Navy, UAB, Rice, Temple.
What day is North Texas UTSA? What weekend? It's like middle of October.
It's the 17th, October 17th.
Okay, just curious. The preseason game of the year was James Madison at Liberty. 31-13 final score. It was close for a long time. The interesting point here is Sluka did not play, or at least he didn't have any stats. I didn't watch every single snap. So wonder if he'll be getting back in the portal here. But hold on, I got to sneeze. Pardon me. But James Madison stuck with Barnett for the whole game, fed their running backs a little bit. It took about 3 quarters, but that offense finally got into a bit of a rhythm and started to score some points. And the defense was pretty much as advertised. Liberty couldn't do a whole lot, but 31-13 final score. James Madison, I don't want to call that a statement win. I know Liberty fans are calling for Chadwell's head already. It's what happens when you have success, man. You get spoiled a little bit. And I think, you know, I think that the way college football is going to go, unless you are, I'm not going to say unless you're Power 4, Power 5. I mean, unless you are those Power 5 schools, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, it's going to be so difficult to sustain success. I think it's going to be like, it's going to remind me of the NBA when you're just going to go all in for a year or two and hope it works. And then you're going to have to sort of rebuild and try to stay competitive. But it's going to be impossible to build and keep a roster. And so I think this is going to be what it's like. You're going to have a 10, 11 win season, and then you're going to drop off a little bit. It's going to take a couple years, and you'll go all in again. Hey, you might have some more success. But for Liberty, I mean, just again, the same issues.
I mean, you only throw for 75 yards the entire game. James Madison scores 21 points in the second half. That was, I mean, you mentioned a tale of two halves, right? Didn't like the way that James Madison came out to start the game. I thought they didn't look crisp. Some mistakes, some procedural stuff, and then figured it out in the second half. And that's all that matters is you get the win. I just thought that they would dominate start to finish. And you got to give Liberty some credit there. Fought hard. But when you can't throw the ball, as good as Liberty's been able to run it, fine. You're just one dimensional. Defense doesn't have to worry about the back end. They can just key on your run game, and you're going to have stalled drives, 3rd and long, and then what are you going to do? So, Vasco has not looked great throwing the ball.
He got hurt too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know. So you got to find somebody on that roster, and maybe they don't have a guy that can throw efficiently, but that's a problem if you don't.
Yeah, but James Madison, I mean, that was supposed to be a big resume win for them. I mean, it still is, I guess, right? But they've got to get through the Sun Belt. Louisiana at Eastern Michigan. Man, Terry, buddy, I'm sorry. Does he have one of the voicemails? I hope you got your bleep button ready.
He does not.
But
no voicemail from Terry this weekend.
A lot of points. 34-31, Eastern Michigan with a win, game-winning field goal. For your Louisiana, 2 interceptions. You ran the ball pretty well. I mean, offense did fine other than the turnovers, right? Eastern Michigan, same kind of deal. Ran it pretty well, threw an interception. Just a game with a lot of points that wasn't a great game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the turnovers is what cost you in these games. You just give those extra possessions to your opponent. Noah Kim played well, did have the interception, but 226 in the air, touchdown. Dante McMillan, 19 carries, 126 yards on the ground. Both offenses looked good at certain times. To me, this was just a lack of defense. And I don't know what happened to Louisiana and that defense with so many guys coming back. They just hadn't been able to stop anybody. But credit Eastern Michigan. This is a big win. Big win for them.
Yeah, big win. Another Sunbelt MAC game, Troy and Buffalo. Buffalo, you go up 17-0. And if you're looking at that roster and you're looking at that offensive line and you're looking at the running back and you're looking at the quarterback, you think we're up 17-0 in the fourth quarter. This is where we impose our will. Let me give you, here's their fourth quarter possessions for Buffalo. 3 plays, 5 yards, 1:57. They ran the ball there. Didn't get anything. You would think they would with that offensive line. Next drive, 3 plays, 0 yards, all pass plays, 24 seconds off the clock. Next drive, 3 plays, 6 yards, 1:34. I mean, as opposed to when you talked about Delaware before, 15 plays, 81 yards, 7.5 minutes to put a game away. You got to have, if you're Buffalo, any one of those drives, you're going to win that game. Yeah, you can't get any. Especially being, I guess they're not who we thought they were, with an offensive line that I thought was the best in the MAC, with a defense that I thought was best in the MAC. Maybe they still are, but, not a good way to close out the game. And then you look at Troy now. Troy's 2-2 with a relatively close loss on the road at Clemson and a relatively close loss at home versus Memphis. So you're looking at Troy now. Maybe they're pretty damn good.
I think you have to give Troy credit. Putting up 21 points in the fourth quarter to come back and win this game. And the defense, pretty much keeping Buffalo's offense under wraps. I mean, Roberson is just, again, this is similar to what we just talked about. Has not looked great throwing the ball this year. And when your offense is one-dimensional and you can just key on the run game, I don't care how good your offensive line is or your running backs, like they're just going to load the box and say, beat us deep, and you can't do it. You got to be able to sustain drives late in the game when you have a lead, or this is exactly what's going to happen. And it's disappointing because I feel like we were both pretty high on Buffalo, and they haven't looked like the team that that we thought they were. But get into conference, Buffalo's 1-1 in conference.
Yep.
So you still have everything there, but credit the Trojans, man, getting the big dub.
Yeah. And then the other top team in the MAC was disappointing as well. Toledo loses to Western Michigan. By the way, shout out to Lance Taylor with the nuts on him to go for 2 and win that thing, which, by the way, hate to say it, had your kicker not missed one earlier,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have had to do that. But Buffalo and Toledo, both disappointing. For Toledo, you had a chance early in that game to just immediately put it away. When you're the better team like that, when you should be the better team, I'm not trying to discredit Western Michigan, because Western Michigan, same thing as Troy. You look at them, they lost close at Michigan State. They lost close versus North Texas. And then they lost to Illinois, who up until Saturday was the number 9 team in the country. So, maybe they're not that bad, but Toledo's a better team. They got a more talented roster, and they have a chance to really put that game away early. They have 2 really good drives. They're 2 best drives of the game, and both of them end in interceptions. And Tucker Gleason on the day, Jeff, 89 yards on 30 pass attempts. 30 pass attempts, 89 yards, 2 interceptions.
And
that ain't Tucker Gleason, we know.
No, and the first pick, it was a bad one. He was just getting pressure, kind of drifting back off his back foot, and just really throws it up into the middle of the field, and Western Michigan gets another possession. And, you got to give a lot of credit to Western Michigan and that offense. Brock Lowry has struggled throwing the ball, but I tell you what, he has made big plays with his legs, had 2 touchdowns. Wasn't pretty. This was like I hate to use this stereotype. It was like a typical kind of MAC game where you just go back and forth. You have some bad plays that happen, but the defenses are playing pretty stout. And then, Lowry gets the two touchdowns. And then, like you mentioned, go for it, win the game. Do want to shout out Chip Trainum. He's a beast. He's a dog. Toledo's running back. He continues to produce. You just hate to see a performance like that. 26 carries, 153 yards and a touchdown, and you lose the game.
Hate to see it. You hate to see it. Ball State at UConn. How about Cameron Edwards for UConn? 24 carries, 194 and 2 touchdowns. Ball State fought, man. They're in a tough situation as well, but they fought. UConn gets that win. UConn 2-2 on the year. I always forget about that we're considering UConn as a group of 5, but we need them in a conference.
Yeah,
join a conference. Delaware and FIU, we talked about that quite a bit earlier. I don't know if you had anything else on that game.
Specifically on the game, no. Just, man, everybody gave Conference USA a lot of flack for they're just adding all these FCF teams because nobody else wants to play in Conference USA. Well, Delaware's 3-1, and it's a good football program, and they're having success right away. So everybody just needs to pump the brakes a little bit when you're making just blanket statements on things you don't know, because I guarantee you all the people that were saying that never watched a snap of Delaware. So shout out to Delaware, shout out to Missouri State. Like they've come in and played tough the opening of this year.
Jeff, and typically that comes from the Sun Belt fans, and the Sun Belt is really not having a good showing this year as a whole.
No.
And when App State and Georgia Southern came into the Sun Belt, they had pretty early success, and maybe it won't last, but App's not looking great. Georgia Southern's not looking phenomenal. Then you look at Conference USA and Sam Houston and Jacksonville State come in right away and compete. And now Delaware and Missouri State come in right away and compete. And oh, by the way, Kennesaw State just beat Arkansas State. So again, you take it for what it's worth, right? I mean, as a program, nobody's going to sit here and say that any of those programs are better than Appalachian State is as a program. However, I mean, if they get rolling, and then on the other hand too, like we've been strong Liberty supporters, but you got these fans that are like, get us out of this terrible conference. Why? What do you mean it's terrible? You're not the best team in it. You got these newcomers that are coming in there and making a run immediately. So, worry about winning your own games. But anyway, I know we got to get going. Arkansas State, Kennesaw State, Amari Odom again. 25 of 34, 308 yards, another 101 yards on the ground, 2 total touchdowns. And their weapon, dude, Ben Yard, that guy's big time. Another 114 yards and a touchdown for Kennesaw. They got guys. They're going to be, this is something, we mentioned in the preseason, is Kennesaw right outside of Atlanta. I know you got like 4 Division I schools right there. I mean, just right there. But there's enough talent in that area that you're going to get some guys that want to come home. Kennesaw can have a couple of years where it clicks and they'll be pretty good.
Yeah, they got ball players out there, man. Give the Owls all the credit in the world getting this big win against a Sun Belt foe who, has a lot of talent on their roster. They just haven't been able to figure it out yet. Defense continues to give up tons of points. Yeah, man. Kennesaw State, they're not an easy out either. This year they look so much better.
All right, Jeff, I'm going to give you about 1 minute. Marshall and Middle, what happened? What'd you see?
Hate the rain delay. We had about a 2-hour rain delay where we're just sitting around and you had lightning strikes and all that. So whenever you have that type of situation, it's hard to stay up, but the Blue Raiders come out right after that delay, go right down the field and score. Our defense can't stop anybody. Our offensive line can't block anybody. It's the same old song and dance. I hate it, but credit Marshall for coming in, weathering that storm and getting the win. The Blue Raiders have kind of had their number the last couple meetings, and Marshall gets it done. They seem to be rolling. Blue Raiders are not.
Good job. Nice recap.
I don't want to spend any more time on it, man. Like I've want them to win. I want them to be good, but we ain't good. So
yeah. Nevada at Western Kentucky. It took Western Kentucky a while, but they finally pulled away a little bit. But Matt Henry only 1 catch. This offense has not been as explosive the last 2 games as they were to open the season. I'm not sure what has been going on. I don't know if defenses have figured them out a little bit. I don't know if they were just riding high. But they're going to get into conference play. And again, you got all these new teams. Look out. Western, you're not just going to be able to run through everybody. Boise State at Air Force. This was a pretty good game. And by the way, Air Force they renovated their stadium. They did, at least from the TV perspective, they did a great job. Their luxury suites look awesome on TV. Their field looks great on TV. Boise, though, I feel bad. Boise's about the only team I can do this to just because I expect so much more from them. They had a hard time. They could not stop. Air Force was throwing it on them, running it on them, doing whatever they want. And then offensively, I know you score 49 points, so it's hard to sit here and say I didn't like the offense. But, they had a possession early in the game where they had like 6 plays from inside the 10, and they threw it every single time. And it ended in an interception to end the half. I mean, I, I don't know. I just, they ended up running it. Dylan Riley had a wonderful day, but it just looks, I don't know what I'm explaining here, Jeff. And I know I'm going to sound like an idiot because I'm not saying anything. I'm saying how bad their offense is. They score 49 points, but it just looks not in sync to me. I don't know. It's not passing the eye test.
It's a bit of a struggle, is what it looks like. It just doesn't look efficient, doesn't look fluid. Now and you're saying that, like you said, scoring 49 points.
And you beat an Air Force team who I think is quite a bit better than they've been. And Air Force always plays Boise pretty tight. But
you hit almost 300 yards on the ground. That's what we were saying. Like, get back to Boise football, running the ball and great defense. Now, 37 points ain't great defense. I know it's Air Force, but the defense hasn't. I feel like on both sides of the ball, they're getting wins. They're 2-1, 1-0 in conference, but it hasn't felt or looked great. So maybe they can make some improvements, get better each week. Now you're in conference, start ripping off some more wins.
Yep. Coastal at South, we talked about this a little bit. Coastal capitalized on turnovers from South and a missed field goal. South outgained Coastal by 120 yards, but had 2 bad interceptions and then a fumble in the end zone. But credit to Coastal, man. Tad Hudson, 3 total touchdowns at quarterback. So maybe Coastal's found a little something here.
It's a welcome sight. I mean, we talked about how rough Coastal has looked, especially offensively. Defense has played pretty well the first couple of weeks. Yeah, the Davenport interceptions, those are rough. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is how I've explained South Alabama for the last couple of years, and you saw it again here. They got the talent. We've been kind of singing Davenport's praises, and then you have a bad outing. So it's over with. Let's move on to the next one, and you got to clean up. You can't have those. Those are bad turnovers.
Yep, and it's a early conference loss. Southern Miss at La Tech. Boy, La Tech, they are on the scene, buddy. There's another one for you. There's another one. And I also know, you know what, you Sunbelt fans, wait a minute. How about a good team that you might be joining your conference? And they go, and I know you don't like Southern Miss either, so it's one of those things. I don't know who Sunbelt fans were rooting for, but the big tight end for La Tech, Eli Finley, 6 catches, 155 yards. And they're just playing well defensively has been the most impressive thing for La Tech.
Yeah, and offense is starting to get rolling too.
Yep. Monroe at UTEP. I'm not entirely sure how Monroe won this game. Well, I'll tell you, they had 250 yards rushing. Monroe did. But Malachi Nelson threw for 409. Now, they threw it a ton, and he wasn't very efficient. But a lot of offense. Monroe ran the ball well, didn't pass it for much. UTEP did the other thing, passed it a bunch, didn't run it that well. But Monroe comes away with a 6-point win over UTEP.
Yeah, you want to see UTEP come away with this win, especially with all the passing yards they have. But again, we just keep reiterating it. You turn the ball over, it gives the opposing team offensive possessions that they normally wouldn't have. Pound the rock, they were able to do it. And interesting here, no receptions for Kenny Odom. I need to look into that story.
Well, yeah, and you see the 409 passing yards, and you immediately think, okay, Odom probably had a 75-yard touchdown pass, but yeah, nothing.
Play?
This is when you're gonna. I don't know.
That's
this
my
is when
question.
you're gonna start to see some of these guys. Are you gonna see some red shirts? Are you gonna see some hamstrings, some ankles? Sorry, neighbors honking their horn out there. Relax. Yeah, very interesting. UTSA, Colorado State. Low scoring, kind of weird, but what can you say? Robert Henry, man, that guy, he's good out of the backfield. He's good running the ball. 144 yards rushing, another 76. Every time that guy touches the ball, it's a home run threat. The way he tightropes the sideline, the way he bounces off contact, he is a damn good player. And let's not forget about UTSA. Now, they get the win. Colorado State, what's the rule on the road? You go for the win. At home, you go for the tie. Isn't that the rule?
Yeah.
Colorado State tried to win it. Did not get it. Did not get the 2-point conversion to win that game. So UTSA, big non-conference there. And then Fresno State at Hawaii. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not watch a single play here, Jeff. I knocked out on the couch, woke up about 12:30, went upstairs, went to bed. Did you get any? You got anything?
No, it was a late one.
Fresno won.
Yeah, they did. It's about what I thought, outside of the fact that Fresno only had 65 rushing yards. I thought they were going to be able to run the ball on this defense. Michael Ohado played, but he had 3 picks. That's not great. EJ Warner, no interceptions, 230 yards passing, did have a touchdown.
Yeah, and Hawaii's
defense is a lot better than they've been in years past. And you'd think a game like this, where you hold them to less than 100 yards on the ground, that offense should get going, but they just didn't look efficient.
Yep. All the other games were against FCS opponents, which we won all of them. I will say San Jose State got a little hairy with Idaho, little hairy. And then I wanted to shout out South Florida. That's a big time bounce back, dominant win. That's what you need. You play South Carolina State, sure, but 63-14, you had a pick 6. Everybody else got those wins. I know we got a few voicemails. Probably going to get to half of them.
Yeah,
I don't know what
we'll knock out. Knock out
3.
half of them.
So you guys call that hotline 615-900-4286. Let's see what we got.
Group of 5 gentlemen. Chuck T here. It's Sunday morning. It's funny how picking one quarterback and running the damn ball typically works. And finally, it worked for JMU. Funny how that works. Good game, great game. Finally, some things clicked together. They ran the ball. They didn't overcomplicate things. Barnett looked good. It was just a solid game. Hated that Vasco went out. I hope he gets right. And who knows what happens if he doesn't get hurt. It was tied at half. I'd like to think that JMU really amped up their defense and just pounded the rock in the second half. Vasco doesn't play defense, so I like to think that the outcome wouldn't have changed. But it was an interesting game, good game. But just like to see things not get overcomplicated. Keep one quarterback in, get a rhythm, run the ball. It's the simple things. This is a simple game. Let's not make it overcomplicated. But we move on, start conference play, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, they look great. I will say, if y'all are still looking for a place to record your next music video, be thinking about a month from now. ODU comes into town, homecoming for JMU, East implications, who knows? But anyway, just something to think about down the road. But Dukes look great, and keep the train going, and conference play heats up, so things going to get a little bit more difficult. Y'all have a good one. Go Dukes. Go Group of 5 guys.
Our next music video.
Oh, we're thinking about it. We are.
Yes, we are
trying to figure it out. We got a lot of things coming up. You get fall break. You got baseball. You got t-ball. You got all these things. That time it up properly. We also are trying to plan a wives, family trip.
Yep.
So we got to find a good spot for the whole family to go to, which might be Harrisonburg. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out.
It's in the works. We'll see. Let's get to our next one.
Hey, Group of 5 guys. This is Doug. Let's go Liberty, even though we lost. Just got to say to all the men out there, if you want to call and talk smack, then you need to own it and say you were wrong. So I was wrong. Hey, big ups to JMU. Even though I still hate them, the best team did win today, no doubt about it. With or without Vasco, I don't think it really mattered. Vasco didn't look super sharp anyway. Merdinger is not the answer for the Flames. And Hout came in, a true freshman, highly recruited quarterback, and you could feel the energy. The whole entire team stood up and walked toward the field because this is the first time the guys played in college. So it really ignited the team, and then they took him right out. Oh. Well, at least we're not UL. Sorry, Terry Johnson. JMU's a good team. Eastern Michigan is not, and I guess UL's not. Maybe Liberty's not, but I'm still 100% Flames, 100% behind Coach Chadwell. All right, so looks like I'm heading to UTEP in a week, so we'll see a Flames victory there. God bless the group of five. God bless the group of five guys.
And he did call right back for a quick addition.
Hey, group of five guys, this is Doug. Let's go, Liberty. With an addendum to my call yesterday. After I slept on it, it seems I thought I came off as kind of a jerk to Terry Johnson, so I apologize for that. And to UL, apologize to that. I live a little west of Lafayette in Texas, and I know all kinds of folks from Louisiana, and every one of them are just the awesomest person that you'd ever want to meet. And hope to make my way to UL for a game one day. All right, take care. God bless the group of five guys, the group of five, Terry Johnson, and UL. Let's go Flames.
Tell you what, those Liberty folks are good people.
They're good people. And Terry was going to have a world record for F-bombs when he heard that call. So no, I didn't think he sounded offensive at all. We're just having friendly chat. I'll say this though about the freshman quarterback. You know what that is? That means they all see him in practice and they think he's better. He's the best thing they got, and they've been wanting him to. They want him to get out there,
That's
or they
right.
see him on scout team and they're like, "This dude can spin it. He's the future." So now, do you want to waste a red shirt at this point in the season? The other part of it is, you gonna be able to keep him for 4 years anyway.
That's right.
Let him
Liberty
spin it,
might
man.
though. They got the funds
they got
to
some
do it.
stuff.
We'll say this before we move on to our next one. Crowd was rocking. Love to see that.
Yep. A lot of good crowds this weekend.
Group of five guys, Joe Judson's here. Well, boys, my Trojans trekked up to Buffalo, which is damn near to Canada, and did a little bison hunting. Lured them to sleep with our game plan of multiple pre-snap and fucking stupid personal foul drive-killing penalties, a non-existent run game, and a fucking gadget play just as we're gaining a little momentum that never works. In spite of all that, we castrated them bulls, hung their nuts on the waterfall, and brought home a victory, and by God, I'll take it. Congratulations to JMU, Coastal, Marshall. Sorry, fellas. Texas State, Monroe, huge win, Georgia Southern, and JMU. And to the others, Southern Miss, Louisiana, Arkansas State, and Georgia State, you defecated on the bed linen, so to speak. God bless you guys and what you do. Keep fighting the good fight. Go Trojans. Go group of five guys. Go Sunbelt.
Appreciate it, Joe.
Joe is an elite caller.
He is.
Isn't he? Castrated the bulls. Hung over Niagara Falls. Reference to there. They say that the Canadian side is better than Niagara Falls, and they got a couple casinos over there too.
Might have to go now. Never been up that way.
You drive up in that area. I don't know where I'm going here, but you go from Buffalo, you go south towards Pennsylvania. You can get they got all the Indian reserves and stuff. You can get cigarettes and tobacco for very cheap. Supposedly, it's cheap enough it's worth taking a trip up there and bringing it back. That's what they say.
To make my way up there. Let's get to one more. And then we got 3 for Wednesday that we'll play. We'll save those for Wednesday.
Group of five guys, top of the morning to you. Just wanted to call in and say I am very happy about the Kennesaw State Owls' performance this week. They really came out and played hard. Consistently happy with the defense. They've been playing tough all year. But very pleased to see the progress on the offensive side. Definitely some miscues here and there. We also had a kind of a quarterback dilemma going into the game. I think coming out of the game, we've fixed that. We know what we're playing with now going forward. At least I hope so. But overall, it felt great to see an actual system in place, working and moving, and people buying in. So steady as she goes. I like to see just a little bit of progression each game, and I think we're doing that. So also excited about Navy, getting back at it next week. I think we got some good stuff in store for Navy coming up as well. So that's it. Thanks for what you guys do. Appreciate it. Bye.
Yeah, Kennesaw. I mean, they're winning.
They are. You got to give credit to Mac and that staff, man. They've come in and turned that ship around, at least so far.
100%. Well, Wednesday, we'll get to the rest of those voicemails, and we've got a big-time Thursday night game that we will be talking about and plenty more. If you enjoy the show, make sure you hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Sorry, I'm reading that chat. I don't know if we have any details on Coach Clark down at UCF, former App State head coach. But I know we put a link out to that meal. They're doing a meal train for his family. So, yeah, prayers for him. Sorry to completely interrupt the ending here, but that's we'll check into that. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. We'll check in a little more on that and try to find out some details on that. Leave a 5-star rating, a review, tell your family and friends all about us. Hope you have a great week. We're out of here.